Good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry for making you wait. Let me share my screen. So I think I had some issue with connecting the other device. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
Adarsh.
audible, audible. Good morning.
So good morning, everyone. Welcome you all to our day 13 of ongoing the brilliant book Surrounded by Idiots. This week we started reading about how to give the feedback to different color personalities. Then we moved to that how they are get along and how yesterday we read about how each color is having a different writing communications and when they went hype or when they go high and all we read yesterday and also discussed. And the current chapter we are reading about the stress factors and energy thieves. So yesterday we have covered that the stress factors and energy thieves of two colors, red and yellow, and we are continuing today with green stress factors for the green. Please type your name here in the chat sections, those who want to read next, so that I can do the warm handover. Hope you all can see my screen and you can hear me clearly. Okay, super. I will continue read for few pages, then I will hand over to as per the written name on chat sections. Stress factors for greens. Let me If you, for any reason, would like to get a green to feel stress, I propose the following unpleasant things. Take every form of security away from him. Give him tasks that he's never done before without explaining anything whatsoever to him. But at the same time, expect perfect implementation. Leave him alone in meetings with people who place unreasonable demands on him. Don't support him when things heat up in a conversation. Send an angry red and send an angry red to rant at him. The stress will soon follow. Leave lots of loose ends. Unfinished tasks and loose ends are deeply disturbing. Greens like to know how things fit together, and when they don't understand how the process works, it won't go well. Unfinished projects, things that have been started but are drawn out without any end in sight, really mess things up for greens. This is why yellows are phenomenal at causing stress for greens. Hang around him constantly. If a green doesn't get his private space, if there is nowhere he can withdraw from the world, he gets very stressed. He likes other people, of course, but he needs to be alone with himself also. If this is not possible, then he can't think anymore. Make lightning fast changes and unexpected changes of direction. This is the specialty of reds and yellows. Quick decisions that they don't always explain. Greens are miserable when they are forced into making unexpected and rapid changes, and they often respond by ending up in a state of absolute indifference. The worst kind of change is when a green gets an order in the morning, and just as he begins to reflect on how he will do it, counter orders comes. Ask him, would he be so good as to redo the whole thing from beginning to end? Having to redo a task is synonymous with failure. If something must be redone, it can only be because your work was not good enough the first time. In other words, negative feedback. By extension, this means that you are not good enough as a person, which of course is extremely stressful. Telegreen, look here, we can't agree on absolutely everything. Disagreement in your work or in the family inevitably lead to stress. Only troublemakers enjoy conflict. Friction in the most important group, the family, is particularly serious. A green won't know what he should do. Push him into the spotlight. Under no circumstances will greens want to take center stage when they are in large groups. Groups of more than 3 people would be considered large group unless the green knew everyone very well. If you force a greens into such a situation, he will just stare at his feet. Everyone can see how uneasy he is, and the rest of the group will also be stressed. Not good. What does a green do when he gets stressed and feels pressured? He becomes very reserved and almost cold. His body language becomes rigid and closed. And if you are the one who triggered his stress, he won't have anything to do with you. Some greens can exhibit strong apathy. They become cold and unsympathetic even towards people whom, in normal circumstances, they care very much about. They also become very hesitant and uncertain. Such stress makes greens insecure and afraid of making mistakes. It can be at work, but also at home. If a child gets sick, a green becomes passive and just looks on because he is afraid of doing the wrong thing. He will also internalize the blame for the situation and may become completely closed. At work, it may be slightly different. It depends. Many greens end up in a rut of obstin- obstinacy or stubbornness, provoking those around them by refusing to change anything, even when they see that a particular method is not working well. They can refuse to act. It seems strange, but the typical green's stubbornness get, gets the upper hand and prevents them from doing anything. Okay, with this, I hand over to Anjali. Please type, so others, please type your names in the chat section so that we can do one handover one after another. Thank you. Over to you, Anjali.
Thank you, Rajesh. Can I help greens to manage their stress? Allow them to do nothing. Give them free time for things like gardening, sleep, or other forms of relaxation. Maybe something like sending them off to a movie, not with a large group of people, but possibly on their own, or giving them a good book that takes 2 days to read. They don't really want to do anything. Let them do nothing until the stress subsides. Then they will be back to their normal selves. Stress factors for blues. If you, for any reason, would you like to get a blue to feel stress, just upset every one of his calculations. Tell him you don't know what you are talking about. You may think that blues don't take criticism personally, but if they believe that the criticism is untrue and unfounded, it can be very hard on them. Not because they are afraid of conflict or that your relationship will suffer, but because their sense of perfection is being besmirched. Have the management team make a spontaneous decision. A blue is often okay with change because he doesn't ever consider anything completely perfect, but he needs to know the motivations behind the change. If it's not in the plan, then it's unplanned, and a lack of planning indicates poor structure. Not good. Inevitably, this leads to headaches. Tell him this could be risky or uncertain, but we are going to go ahead anyway. There's a certain amount of risk in everything. A blue sees risk everywhere. If a red were to say that jumping from a plane without a parachute is a huge risk, a blue would say that it's risky to buy a new lawnmower. You never really know what can happen. And the faster things go, the greater the risk become. Surprise him with something like, your in-laws are coming over unannounced. Fantastic. It's a matter of order and structure, of working at a relaxed pace or renovating the kitchen according to a clearly established plan. If half the family went over to drop in all of a sudden, it would upset everything. You should never try to surprise a Blue. Since he may not have communicated his own plans completely, you can create quite a problem. Say, "Whoops, Daisy, what happened here?" Mistakes are made by blockheads and careless people. Blues don't make mistakes. So when everyone else makes a mess of things and disrupts his plans, a blue might simply close the door and refuse to listen. He doesn't want to hear that the project has crashed. He just wants to keep doing his part even if that task is no longer makes any sense. Tell him, forget about the bureaucracy. Let's innovate. Don't you have any imagination? We have to be a bit more flexible here. This is a great way to get a blue to lose his footing at work. People who break the rules and go against the regulations are to be regarded with suspicion, and you need to keep them on a short leash. If a blue realizes that he is in the hands of an organization that pays no attention whatsoever to proper procedures, he can show considerable resistance. Remind him we simply need to take bigger risk. A variation on the preceding point, right is right. The proper preparation is the be all and end all, the alpha and omega. It even says so in a book. So when a blue can't prepare himself in his sometimes extremely cumbersome way, it triggers stress. He is the opposite of spontaneous, and you simply can't force a blue to respond to a situation before he has had time to acquaint himself with the subject. He will have so many reservations, he won't be any use. Surround him with overly emotional people. Nope, sloppy sentimentality is downright unpleasant. It's messy and awkward, and a blue doesn't like it. Logic is what counts, and if you overlook this, he will find it very trying. He will make himself scarce, and he'll never forget that you are an overly emotional person who doesn't use your brain in the same way he uses his. What does a blue do when he gets stressed and feel pressure? He becomes excessively pessimistic. Oh, yes, it actually gets worse than usual. Suddenly, everything becomes pitch black and he falls into a pit of despair. Lethargy is common and nothing is of interest anymore. Gloom and doom will rain down on all of us. He also gets unbearably pedantic. When they feel stress, many people increase their pace in order to compensate. Not a blue. He stomps on the brakes. Now isn't the time for making any mistakes. Those around him can expect constant criticism. He will suddenly point out every little mistake he observes, and there are quite a few. He might also become an unbearable know it all. Can I help blues to manage their stress? They need privacy. They must be given time and space to think. They want to analyze the situation and understand the connections, and they need to be given time to do just that. If you give them space, they will come back eventually. But if they fall too deeply into a funk, you may need to offer them more proactive help. Conclusion: what can we learn from studying different people under stress? When under stress, an individual's normal conduct and behavior are reinforced and exaggerated. A red becomes even tougher and more aggressive towards those around him. A yellow becomes more sulky and unstructured. A green becomes even more passive and non committal than usual. And a blue can become completely closed and split hairs so thin that they are not even visible to the naked eyes. The most important thing is to avoid stressing people unnecessarily. Of course, you knew that already, but it can be helpful to understand what actually causes stress for each profile. To push a red is not as stressful as pushing a green or a blue. On the contrary, you have to push a red for him to bounce back. If everything were to go smoothly, he would just get bored. The situation, your profile, the time of day, the level of work, the group, the weather. Lots of things determine stress in our lives. But if you pay attention, it will work out perfectly.
So with this, we completed the chapter. Now we are moving to that new chapter. Anyone would be interested to start reading? Okay, Anjali, you may continue if you are interested, and let me know
Yeah, I'll
whenever
read.
you want to stop. I can.
I can read.
Yes,
If,
Mansi.
Yeah, Mansi.
no, Anjali, you can continue if you want. Otherwise, I can read.
No, no, you read. You after a long time you have offered. You read.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just a minute. I want to zoom in. My screen is not getting rotated somehow for now. All right. Now we got it. Okay. A short reflection through history. People have always been like this. The background to everything you have read so far. This chapter explains how I arrived at the research that forms the basis of the information in this book. If you're not interested in history or references or research or things that take time from your otherwise full life, you can skip this chapter. For everybody else, a long time. We want to read it, right? Just checking because,
Yeah, you can continue. You can continue.
okay. For everybody else, a long time ago, in all cultures, there has always been a need to categorize people. When the Stone Age period was over and we became more reflective as people, we discovered that all over the world people were different. What a surprise! But how different are people really? And how have those differences been described? There are probably as many methods as there are cultures on earth. But I'll share some examples. The Greeks, Hippocrates, who lived from 4 centuries before Christ, is considered the father of medicine. Unlike many other physicians of that time, he wasn't superstitious. He believed that disease originated in nature and didn't come from the gods. For example, Hippocrates believed that epilepsy was caused by a blockage in the brain. Nowadays, this is common knowledge, but back then it was revolutionary. Humoral pathology, or the theory of the four humors or four bodily fluids, has to do with the four temperaments. According to Hippocrates, our temperament is the fundamental way we react. It's our behavior or our natural frame of mind. Our temperament controls our behavior. Hippocrates believed that your health is good when the four humors, blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm, I don't know how to, are in balance. When we vomit, cough, or sweat, for example, the body is trying to rid itself of one or more of these substances. The word chloe comes from Greek and means yellow bile. Therefore, a choleric person, choleric person is controlled by yellow bile or the liver. Fiery and temperamental choleric people sometimes frighten those around them with their powerful ways. Choleric can, choleric, I don't know how to spell it, sorry for that, can be translated as hot blooded. Melancholic person, blue, choleric person, red. Acha, this is how his distinguish them. Phlegmatic person, green, sanguine person, yellow. The Latin word sanguis means blood. A sanguine person is controlled by the blood, by the heart. Creative and happy go lucky. He spreads positive vibes around him, full of blood and therefore optimistic and cheerful. He has an airy manner. A synonym for a sanguine person is an optimist. A phlegmatic person gets his influence from the brain. Phlegm means nothing more than mucus. Mucus is viscous, which symbolizes a phlegmatic person's temperament. A phlegmatic person is sluggish and slow in movement. Finally, a melancholic person has an excess of black bile. The Greek Miliana chloe simply means black bile found in the spleen. and in therefore often perceived as melancholic and gloomy. A common synonym for a melancholic person is pessimist. Wow, this is very interesting. And there we have Hippocrates and his theories in a nutshell. The ancient people with an eye for color, the Aztecs. The Aztecs were a powerful people who lived in central Mexico from the 14th century to the 16th century. They are known for their incredibly advanced civilization and impressive temples. When they tried to divide people into different categories, they used something they knew well. The four elements: fire, air, earth, and water. To this day, the four elements are used to describe different frames of mind, but nobody really knows if the Aztecs were the first to actually come up with this idea. But we do know for a fact that they used this idea because they left cravings illustrating this approach. Fire people were exactly as it sounds: fiery, explosive, a bit hot headed. They were warrior types who took to the sword to get their own way, leaders. Air people were different. They were also determined but considerably more easygoing. They swept in like a captivating wind, kicking up a little dust in the process. Earth people worked for the village, for the collective. They had to exemplify stability and security. They were there to create long lasting things to build for the future. Water, blue; fire, red; earth, green; air, yellow. This is also science, right? Like our zodiac signs are also divided into these four categories. Yeah. What about water people? Water was an element the Aztecs had represent for. Water can crush everything in its path, but you can also bottle it if you know how to do it. Quiet and secure, water people observed everything that was happening. As you can see, these divisions bear quite a resemblance to the theories propounded by Hippocrates. They are only different names for the same thing. William Moulton Marston. William Moulton Marston created a systolic blood pressure test that was used in an attempt to detect fraud. The discovery resulted in the modern lie detector. But Marston was also the author of essays in popular psychology. In 1928, he published his work Emotions of Normal People, in which he investigated the differences in the behavior patterns of healthy people. Earlier, both Jung and Freud had published studies involving mentally unstable people, but Marston was a kind of pioneer who provided the foundations for what became known as the DISA model, the model that is basis for this book. A few years back, discovering Marston's work in the 1950s, Walter Clegg developed the DISA concept based on Marston's observations. As you have seen, this is a model used to categorize the different types of human behavior. His work has been an endless source of valuable insights about behavior and human interactions, but it has not been without its critics. However, a great deal of work has been done since Marston's days, and over the years, many other people have been involved in fine tuning the DISA tool. Marston found a way to demonstrate how people were different. He noted distinct differences between personalities, which form the basis for the model used in this book. Nowadays, we use the following divisions. Dominance produces activity in an antagonistic environment. Inspiration produces activity in a favorable environment. Submission produces passivity in a favorable environment. Compliance produces active passivity in an antagonistic environment. The four letters D, I, S, and C, dominance, inspiration, submission, and compliance, form the acronym of the DISC profile, that is, a disk profile that is used throughout the world. Master used the word compliance, however, in this book, I render this as analytic ability, as that better describes the type of individuals. The dominance trait in any given individual relates to how he approaches problems and deals with challenges. Inspiration refers to a person who likes to influence others. A person with this trait will always be able to convince others. In simple terms, you could say that dominance is about acting and inspiration is about interacting. So, this is the DISC model. Analysis, how to respond to rules and regulations. Dominance, how you approach problems and deal with challenges. Inspiration, how you cooperate with and seek to influence other people. Stability, how you respond to change. The degree of stability is measured primarily by how receptive an individual is to change. A strong need for stability means a person is resistant to change, while someone who enjoys change will have a lower. Can you scroll up? Can have a lower need for stability. This leads, of course, to a number of specific behavior patterns, like a nostalgic belief in the long lost good old days, for instance. Finally, analytic ability shows that how willing someone is to follow rules and regulations. Of course, this also produces certain characteristics that are interrelated. Here we find those who can't accept that things go wrong. Quality is important. You have probably noticed that I I can read, but if someone wants to take over, she can. If
Yes,
there's a
yes.
small part, I'll finish that otherwise. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
go on, go on.
Mansi, go on if you want, please.
Okay, I don't know how much. Can you just scroll a little, Rajesh? I would
No,
want to see how much is there.
it's going to finish. I think that's all.
Okay, 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 I'll finish this much then. You have probably noticed that regardless of whether it's a product of modern psychology or the ancient Aztecs in Latin America, these behavioral types are all associated with the same color. The colors aren't critical. It's only a way to make it easier for those who aren't familiar with the system to make sense of the profiles. As a consultant, I have trained people in this topic for 20 years and I found that the colors facilitate learning. Marston finished researching this topic sometime in the 1930s. Many others have used this research and developed a tool that, according to the most recent data, has been used by nearly 50 million people for the past 35 years. For example, the American Bill Bonstetter made invaluable achievements in creating definitive tools that help analyze the whole individual. In the United States, a company Success Insights, TTISuccessinsights.com offers a comprehensive analysis tool. But it's always helpful to remember that though in theory there's no difference between the concept on the page and the practice, in the real world there's a big difference indeed. I've described the four main traits that Marston pointed out, but remember that most of us are combination of two colors. I was thinking of this. Okay. Yeah. Go on, go on. Yeah. Suman, you can take
Okay.
over after this.
Okay. The next chapter, it's kind of question and answers. Voices from real life, and it holds to some someone asking questions and someone respond. I think we can go. We can have a role play, but this is the page around 17 pages there. 17 pages are there. We can cover it up for next 10 minutes. How much is covering? Then mostly we will be able to complete this book by tomorrow. Okay, if you read that off of these pages, then we will have another few pages remaining to complete tomorrow. Tomorrow we will also have a small quiz. There will be around 20 questions are there. We will we can have a quiz program. I think I will come up with something idea where we can have Kahoot or something. We can bring it up so that people can answer it. So we can play a game. So as we have something is question and answer, can we play a role play from here until for the next till 7:45 we can read this, then we can stop and then we can continue tomorrow. So who all want to play? I think that will be a lot of things will be answered and small will be the questions. Anyone will be two people will be interested. Suman, you can read it, the second page.
Yes,
Who would
yes.
like to ask the
Yeah.
question? Who would like to ask the question?
I can do that part. I can ask the
Okay,
question. As I
super,
have
super.
already read, yeah. Suman, you read the answer part. I read
Yeah,
the.
sure, sure.
Okay, fine. I think until you can start from this, and then you can. Okay, I will do this. I think I will start this. Then I will come finish this one question part. I will give it to you. Then someone can answer this. Chapter 19: Voices from Real Life. The book you are holding in your hands is a translation from Swedish of the fourth edition of Surrounded by Idiots. How to understand those who cannot be understood. When the Swedish edition was published, about 15,000 people in Sweden read it. I wrote this book because for many years in various contexts and training courses, lectures, etc., people always ask me, where can we read more about the system? Up until now, the answer has always been nowhere. Then I wrote this book and now you have read it. As a writer, I always want to know what people think about what I have written because I also write fiction. I know how hearing the truth can be like an electric shock. But at the same time, I like to challenge myself. So I interviewed four people with the entirely different profiles, asking their views about the system itself, but also about how they see their everyday lives. Based on the color they have, as you read, pay attention to how they answer the questions, not just to what they say. You can learn just as much from how they respond as you can from the responses themselves. Helena, CEO of private company with approximately 50 employees, mostly red, without any green or blue, small dab of yellow. Over to you, Anjali.
What do you think of this tool? DISA language?
I think it seems to be an effective way to avoid misunderstandings. I understood immediately what it was all about. So I think the book could have been shorter, half as long, maybe. I would have concentrated the text more. I don't like repetition, but sure, it is a useful tool. Last Christmas, I gave a copy to all my co-workers as a gift and asked that they read it, and almost everybody did.
What is the important takeaway from the book?
That I no longer have to beat around the bush. Now my staff know that I am not an evil despot. I am just red. They understand that I am not angry, just determined. The most interesting thing was reading about blue behavior. I would never reflected on why they saw things so differently than I do. Now I understand that the process itself is important for them, which is why they take such a long time.
Anything else?
No, well, yellows, I have always wondered about them. All that babble. I have some acquaintances who are like that. They just sit down and blow a lot of hot air in your face without really saying anything much. My neighbor is like that. He plans all the time, but none of his plans actually take off. It doesn't bother me, but his wife must be insane by now. And at my company, the yellows get too little done. But it is not a major problem, in my opinion. I just stand firm and demand that they deliver. I can live with their sore faces. I am not there to be soft and cuddly.
What is your experience of green behavior?
Sure, yes, well, what can I say? Helena takes a long pause and looks out the window. They are needed too, loyal and dutiful. But in all honesty, I had never realized that they talk behind my back, but it is definitely true. They are phenomenal at spreading rumors. Even making the smallest change starts off a storm of gossip in the lunchroom. Speculations about one thing after the other, usually completely incorrect and based on wrong information. It would be easier if they just came straight to me with their questions. I mean, how hard can it be to step into the manager's office and just ask? They know that I'll always answer honestly, so beating around the bush is frustrating. I don't know how many times I have said that. We have to we have to just be honest with each other at this farm. Is that so hard?
Why do you think they don't share what they are thinking with you?
They are afraid that I will get angry. Of course, I have never thought about it before. They think that I am short tempered because on occasion I raise my voice or glare at someone. But that just means that I am trying to highlight that what I have said is important. Pause. Personally, I could not care less if a conversation is a little tense. It is not the same thing as being angry, but it was news to me that some people actively avoid strong individuals. What I don't understand is how this happens between grown ups.
You consider it immature behavior, not saying what you think.
Immature, dishonest, actually. A lot like a child who refuses to admit that he took the chocolate chip cookie, even though he was not allowed to. I know that he did it, so what is the point denying it? That is something I really don't understand. Just admit your mistakes. Why is that so hard? Admit what you have done or not done, and then we can move on. But denying it or avoiding it, it drives me insane.
Okay, let's consider the other colors. You said that you find blues the easiest to deal with, relatively easy with yellows. But what about other reds? How is it working with people that have the same profile you have?
Usually, no problem. We do what we have to do. I have a management team consisting of 5 people besides myself. I would say that 3 are red, or wait now, 2 are red and 1 red or yellow. One is blue, the controller, and the last one is hard to say. He is both visionary and at the same time focuses on the details. Can a person be yellow or blue?
Yes, a common combination. But no green in the team then?
Smiling, no.
How does your red behavior function in general, do you think?
Well, before reading the book and discovering my personal profile, I never thought that much about it. I had not really reflected on the way I approach things. But the more I read, the more I realized that I was the cause of the some of the problems I have had at work. The thing about people hiding their real feelings was only one part of the story. It never occurred to me that some people were afraid or intimidated by the way I behave. There has been a lot of turbulence when I made decisions too quickly or when things were not properly throughout. Of course, I know that I need to think through things before I decide on anything, but it just happens. I get an idea and off we go. Implement it before lunch.
What are the consequences of these poorly thought out decisions? Do you have any examples?
Tons laughter. Once I accepted a job without even asking about the salary. Turns out I had to work 60 hours a week without a penny in the overtime. On one occasion, I hired a person who turned out to be totally useless. I had not asked for any references, and I assumed that he knew what he was talking about. He knew nothing about the industry or the product. He was a complete scammer. Unfortunately, he cost us a lot before I finally managed to get rid of him. Lots of money was wasted though.
That doesn't sound ideal. How are things outside of work? How do you manage your personal relationships?
In those areas, I think even less. But it is kind of funny. I showed the book to my husband and asked him to read it. He didn't, but I highlighted some areas that I insisted he read.
Red behavior.
Rat behavior. And he did read some of it. He probably recognized his wife. He laughed a little, but now that I think about it, he didn't say anything in particular.
Did he make any comments about green behavior?
No.
How do you work together as a team?
How do you work together? Laughter. I tell him what needs to be done, and he does it. Before he has finished with it, I find something else for him to do and send him off to do it. Later on, I get annoyed because he has not finished, but he has never finished anything in his entire life. We often laugh about this. I create disorder but blame him. I'm sure he doesn't have an easy life.
I understand. What would you say your biggest challenges are based on your red behavior?
Some people take an eternity to make a simple decision, and it drives me crazy. I know I am fast, but some people are just painfully slow. It doesn't make a difference if it is a friend or a coworker. For instance, we said that we were going to buy an armchair for our living room. Because I work so much, we agreed that my husband would. Here, Helena raises her eyebrows and slowly a smile spreads across her face. I agreed that he had to do all the research, check online, furniture stores, second-hand shops, and so on. But nothing happened, of course. 2 days later, when I asked him about it, he had not done anything at all. So, the following day, during lunch, while I was in the bathroom, I found 5 different options and sent them to him. And when I got home 5 hours later, he still had not done anything. I exploded at him and he locked himself in the basement.
Okay, a good example. Thanks. How long have you been married?
14 years. We met by chance. I usually say that what attracted me to him was that he could keep his mouth shut when needed, and he still does. But sometimes I wish that he would take a little more initiative and just do things. I have never actually asked him what he saw in me.
But how do you resolve your conflicts if he is green and you are red?
I don't think we actually have that many conflicts. On the whole, I am the one who argues if anything happens. But on the other hand, he can get very sulky.
What do you mean by sulky?
He can walk around for days just moping. Normally, I just ignore him. He usually recovers. But sometimes I get tired of all his sad faces and asking him what the problem is. I confront him, as it were.
What happens then?
What happens then? Well, he says that there is no problem, that everything is great, but that's not true. He is really easy to read, so I always know if something is wrong. The problem is that he refuses to admit that he is grouchy, which usually means that he is upset because of something I did or said. The problem is that I never remember anything. I have to start guessing, which is absolutely impossible. Often it is about some insignificant stray comment I made in passing, usually something I forgot the minute I said it. And if I don't guess correctly, then he gets even grumpier. It can go on for weeks. I don't understand how he copes with it.
But how do you move on? Can't you sort it out?
Well, we just tend to sweep it under the rug. I forget about the whole thing, but my husband stores the conflict in some private archive that only he knows about. That shelf must be completely full by now. Helena thinks for a moment. You know, I have always gotten in trouble for sharing my opinion, for walking my own path. I have never really fit in. Even as a child, I did stupid things and took risks. But now I am glad that I took risks because it has taken me somewhere. But it definitely has not always been easy.
How has your risk taking benefited you?
Sitting and thinking about things leads nowhere. It makes no difference how great your plans are if you don't get off your butt and carry them out. I didn't always know where I was going, but that never stopped me. I have had some tough sports, went bankrupt, lost my job, and things like that. Not that much fun, but those things brought me to where I am now. The way I see it, it is not how much you know or how clever you are, but what you actually do. And I have always been good at that, doing things.
What advice would you give to people who meet you? What should they keep in mind?
Don't be intimidated by the fact that sometimes I am a little too pushy. Don't back off just because I can raise my voice a bit. I am not angry just because I push people, but also that they have to get the show on the road. My husband and I often talk about how different we are at delivering a message. While he gives the background for 10 minutes and then comes to the point, I go straight to the point and tell people what is important. Maybe I throw in a little background information, but probably not. People should keep in mind that you can work without talking all the time. Put your energy into the task at hand instead of a bunch of other things. You can socialize on the weekend.
Okay, with this we come to end of today's reading, and this one the next one is going to the new person hack and sell of advertising space. So that I think we will continue reading from this tomorrow, so that we will be able to complete the chapter. I will request everyone to please join at 7 o'clock tomorrow, so that we will be able to complete the book by tomorrow. And tomorrow also is a weekend, right? The Friday, so we will be able to complete the book by this week itself. Okay, now let's start discussing what we read last in the last chapter. The discussion between the leader.
Just one thing before we start with the discussion. Can you just scroll up to the initial part of the interview? I just want to
Uh,
check her
one minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
description.
Sir, 1 minute. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mansi. What you said? Go scroll up.
Just the top of the interview, like when the question answer starts. So I'm just not sure what if I saw it right. So I just want to see it once.
Yeah.
No. Before the question answer starts. After this, after this. This much, this. Green or blue, a small dab of. Okay. So she, acha, it is mostly red. Sorry.
No,
Green.
nothing.
Helena
She's
is
saying
red and her
saying,
husband is green. So
hmm,
it's about red and green combination.
yeah,
Mostly
it is
red
the family
without
side.
Yeah.
any green or blue, a small dab of yellow. Okay. Okay. Why did he say small dab of yellow? I did not get it. Like, I don't know. Maybe.
Sir.
Okay. Got it. I thought she's green, but she has mistaken herself as red. That's what I was thinking. That's why I wanted to check this. Got it. Okay. We can go on with the discussion.
Yeah. Fine. So, anyone would like to share the discussion or the interview with that the CEO, whatever her sharings, her experience with her employees and the family. So I think she has covered. I think she was sharing about his her employees, how they behave and how the different colors partners they behave and how her husband behaves. Anyone would like to share any lights on today's slide?
So I felt like she as the interview also reflected the dominance and impatience. Like they are very Reds. I feel they're very impatient. They are not. They can't hold on, or they want to like they want get things done very fast, and they can't be very patient with people. So that's what I felt. And obviously, yeah, yes, controlling and all that. What was shared also in the earlier chapter. So that was reflecting. And I was also little observant about what she had said, right? Like observe how they respond also. So that also I was observing. So yeah, so the way the tone and everything was reflecting back in them. So yeah. And in the earlier part that we read, even that I loved, like how he had explained how he actually came up with these four colors, those four categories, and so much of research or so much of understanding has gone into it. That was amazing. When he just compared it with the science and Hippocrates and all of that, that was very interesting to know. Yeah, that's my share for today.
Basically, but I think I was little confused with that the names whatever he has used. There are some names seems to be that I think the call telematic.
Yeah, that's the even I don't know how to pronounce them rightly actually. I just managed somehow.
Hippocrates
That was
actually is the
interesting.
father of medicine. So the four
Very true.
colors, yeah, the four colors he is talking about, he selected were based on the body types or the body problems. Like the choleric, it was yellow color. It's about the liver functioning and bile. So it shows the red color. Similarly, sanguine, it is yellow color which talks about enthusiasm because blood is the energy source. Phlegmatic is the phlegm, the congestion or something, that is the green, or they are very calmly stationed inside. Melancholic is black bile, which is like blue colors. They are too much into the detailing. Bile is the it's kind of the functions. Now it helps in body functioning. So he was the father of medicine actually. So from there, the four colors he has like decided or described about the body types or the kind of things that what function inside the body. So I think it is also a very clear distinction of the four types
So,
personalities.
have you read about the Hippocrates before, or this is the first time you are reading?
I have read
That's what I
Her
thought.
daughter is a
I have
doctor,
read about him.
so
Oh,
she might know more.
Sorry.
Your daughter is a doctor, na Anjali? So you
Yes, no, this I
might
read
know.
during my college time. Hippocrates, Socrates, and all the, yeah, I have read about these. And the
Socrates. Okay.
Aztec philosophy also, sorry.
Socrates, yeah, I heard about, but Hippocrates, I think, I
Yeah, he's
haven't.
the father of medicine.
Listen, yeah, yeah,
They
please.
worship him like they medicine students. I think they have it their photos and all.
Yes, philosopher. He was early philosopher, and it relates so well with the body types, na? How it is there. So, yeah. And even in the tarot also, we have four decks. And the four colors, what he has described, it clearly explains. Mansi, you could be able to relate to that. The fire
Yeah,
energy,
I did not
fire,
see it from
earth.
the tarot perspective. Yes, but yes, these four elements. Yes, I could relate with definitely.
Yes, so now since I'm a tarot reader, I can relate that as well. How it
Yeah, very
works
well.
with the
Yes.
energy. Yes, the four distinct categories.
So even zodiac signs have these four airs, air, water, and all this categorization, na?
But
So
it's a
all the 12 zodiac
combination.
signs.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
combination in zodiac because we have 12 zodiac signs, but in tarot we have four distinct tarot decks. And each na fire and wands and
Even the zodiac signs are distinctly divided
yes,
into four categories. So and I like how he mentioned na like also that some people, like all of us, are combination of many a times two colors also. It's not like we are only completely like one color qualities.
It's
So
a
we,
combination. Every
yeah, that
person
was
has
also
all.
what I was feeling, that maybe we are not completely, we have a little bit here and there of other traits also from other colors. So that's what I could feel,
Yeah.
but then now he also confirmed it.
Mostly
So
one
yeah,
color
the
is
green.
dominant. Yeah, mostly one color is dominant, but we have all the colors, and that is why, according to the situation, we are able to behave in that manner.
Yes, and I feel understanding this na, we can also adapt to the other good qualities of other these things, right? Taking from people of other colors, other traits, and we can actually try to imbibe them in us if we want to. Like
Yes,
like
From this
whatever
definitely.
book.
the
We will
qualities.
That is the
setting
That
main
was
takeaway.
very
Yes,
conversations
it
with
beautiful.
is.
that only.
That is
And
what
main
is it.
learning from this book.
See,
Yes, yes.
it is not just analyzing, it is not just reading others, but it is how you yourself know about yourself, that and adapt yourself to that surrounding. It's as I said, now vice versa. You have we are learning from our perspective as well, how others are perceiving us and how we are behaving in their vicinity, and how we should be ideally responding to those situations.
No, no, no. I'm saying like this is definitely there. That's the main purpose of the book. But I'm saying like when we understand the qualities of other people, so we can actually try to take that qualities in us. Like understanding, like maybe for example, if I say I'm yellow or green, and I don't have the other qualities which red or blue might have, which might be beneficial for me to have, I can adapt to those also. Like that's what I'm telling, like understanding from this book, we can try to obviously accept ourselves and others fully, but also
Right,
even
right,
take
right.
in
I
some good
understood. Yes.
qualities from them. Yeah, that we might be lacking, like that's what I'm saying.
Especially the greens one, na? Because they're so calm, we need to adapt that, especially the green quality, the green traits at times.
Yeah, and every color has good and bad, right? Like there are two sides to every coin types.
Definitely, yes.
We need to be an amalgam of all different colors.
Yes.
We are usually a mixture of colors. We are never 100% in one, according to modern psychology. We have traits of everything in us. Maybe that maybe some of the traits may be more prominent in each person.
And I feel we also shift gears, like at times as per the seasons or as per our situations, we also go into zones of maybe some, I feel it, that might also be true.
Yeah, a lot of people I have heard in my workplace that, especially people who are by nature more quiet, who don't speak up much. They say that I am forced to become more of an extrovert in the workplace, whereas at home I don't do that. I'm very quiet at home. So that whatever it is, sometimes the nature of the job and the need of the job will make you do something that is not absolutely natural, and that is okay. You have to adapt to what is the requirement, right?
Yes, I'll just share something personal here. Like I remember my father-in-law, he was such a different personality in his workplace. He headed a business, right? So he was so different in his workplace, and at home he was so different. So when I used to know him like before marriage also, right? Like so, as is a love marriage. So I knew him, and I had only seen him in his workplace mostly. So I had a very complete different impression of him. And when I got married and I came home, I'm like I was so surprised to see a complete different personality and approach by him. Then now that I understand, I feel it was he was very balanced. He was a very spiritual and a very balanced individual, and he was very highly I would say enlightened as such. So it was his way of balancing it, and he very beautifully balanced his masculine and feminine energies, and it was so beautiful. So I remember when he was in office or at workplace, he was completely in his masculine, and at home he was so soft and humble and loving. So he was completely in his feminine side, and he balanced everything so well. So that is just something that I just remembered. So I just shared.
One more thing, Anjali, you were talking about the Hippocrates, having those four types, right? The sanguine, choleric, and everything. I was actually just looking it up, and that those four uh, types are related to the color of the skin, it seems. Like, people who are, a certain thing, if they are phlegmatic, the color of the skin is something. If they are choleric, that means the color of the skin is yellow, something like that. So it looks like there is a medical aspect of it also. And when he is comparing it with the four colors in this book, it is also that maybe people, their digestion, all those things are also linked in some way.
Yeah, the
It's
same thought
about
came to me also.
it's
Yes.
about the body fluids, Vidya. It's not about the skin color because that distinction is not in medicine. Yeah, it that effect is temporary because the skin color or discoloration sometimes is temporary. But he is talking about the bodily fluids. These are the fluids that body has blood and the liver bile that liver produces the bile, so those colors he's talking about, it's based on that.
I'm
And
So
just sending
because
you the
I
he's
link.
felt,
he talks about the medicine, he's the father, he gave this he introduced for the as the base of the medicine.
no, what I thought was different. Like how Louis Hay also says, right? Like our thoughts affects our physicality, and there is a connection between our psychology and our mind, right? Like our mind and our body. So what I felt is, as they say, right, we all have a prakruti. So we all have a type, right? So I feel, even I felt like while we read that was a very new information for me. I heard of it and read of it for the very first time, in fact. So for me, I felt कि somewhere in our body, like the way things are in our body, it affects our mind and attitudes in a way, is what just came to. I just thought of that, like somewhere, as they say, right, in Ayurveda, and also they have this, right, that prakruti. So when you feel calm, right, when you are healthier, and you get angry or anxious when you are unhealthy or you have digestion issues or things like that. So that I felt like when he was discussing that.
The writer has very deeply
So
studied.
somewhere there is a correlation, is what I felt actually.
Yeah,
So, yeah, sorry, Suman, carry on, please.
yeah. I was saying that writer has very deeply studied all these things, and he has put in alignment with nature, with body physique, with fluids, and all, with different angles, or we can say different lenses he is using to describe the human behavior and colors. Like four elements were there: air, water. So nature therapists, they also use and describe the same way. If the water element affects how our health, and how if element, even in chakra meditation, Mansi, you must be knowing, they also heal the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, we all have these traits as such. In Ayurveda
Yes.
also they see na, that is it the Pitta Shamak or something they have na.
Yes,
Uh,
kapha, pitta, and yes,
Kapha, Pitta, Vata. Ha. So I think
vat.
these things are like
There are
similar
three
kind.
Yeah.
doshas, three dosha in
Doshas,
Ayurveda.
yes.
Dosh, Vat, Pitta, Kapha.
Yeah, the pravrittis, right?
Actually, we have pravritti also, Anjali. If they are lacking or dominating, that is called dosha.
Yes, yes, yes. Even I know. Like everyone have a pravrutti. Some have a pitta pravrutti. Some have a vat. It's like that. Like some. So basically, you are more immune or more prone to get accustomed to that. Something like that. They know. They tell us that if you have a pitta pravrutti, if you avoid certain foods or things like that,
Yeah,
then
eating.
Yeah, it is on
yeah,
this
you
only
can
that sometimes it
balance it.
becomes when the disorder is there or they are imbalanced, it becomes a dosh. Otherwise, it is the prakriti. Every body is either a pitta body or a vat body or a kapha body. And when that imbalance is there, generally we have to balance, keep a balance of all the three doshas. Otherwise, obviously, prakriti. Otherwise, it becomes a dosh. That there is a kapha dosh, so you get that congestion or that body starts storing water. So those things now it becomes store dosha when it is imbalance.
And in natural therapy, these five elements are considered air, water, sky, earth, and one more is there, space. They heal with these because we are made up of all these five elements. So the writer is relating this way, that way to all these. He has studied the different. He's trying to bring out the behaviors relating to these.
So for me personally, that was very interesting to learn that he has compared with and taken all this from all these ancient learnings and wisdoms from different these things, and how he came to this four distinctions. So that was very interesting. That actually showed also, like that also made us aware how much deep he have gone through the research and all into creating this. It's not just colors. Otherwise, thinking of colors, it feels very superficial, right? But now it knows that we know that he's really thought it through and researched it through very well, actually.
Let's come back to the book now. Too much of discussion.
Yeah,
Rajesh ji, are you there?
he's on a very silent.
He was talking of DISA model also, that
Yeah.
environment of dominance, it produces
No, no.
antagonist.
That is the actual
So
structure. I think the design model is the structure of this book. I think the main core, he has written the entire book based on the design model, dominance, influence, and this one stable and
antagonist, inspiration, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, I think
favorable.
he has
One
mentioned
thing
dominant.
which that's there in modern psychology is that everything is divided into four types. So you have like four temperaments or four this kind of colors or four four different things, so that it's easy to kind of say that okay, a person is either this or that. So there are four kinds of demarcations. Even these four that we have discussed can be actually correlated with other four in types in other psychologies like Meyer-Briggs and everything. So there is, for each one of these, there is a particular definition in Myers-Briggs. So I was just looking, green is like something, red is something. So there is a lot of correlation. If you can go deep, there is a lot that you can do.
Yeah, very true, actually. So just talking about Anjali, since you mentioned tarot, now it will help you understand and correlate it also very well, right? Like when you deal with people.
So Anjali is a tarot reader.
I am a
Yeah, yeah, she-
neurologist and tarot reader.
Ah, okay.
So I connect people. Yeah, I understand people with the numbers. It is easier for me actually. If I know their numbers as well, like it's
How do
easy.
you have a way to calculate the numbers?
Yes, 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 it's there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things sharing. I think today we have a lot of things people have shared. I think not only the book, the different learning and different thoughts. That is what important. Not only just starting reading and whatever it is in the book and completing. That's not a way. When we share something from our own experience, I think we got to know many things about each other, right? I think today we have been in this system for a long time, but many things got to know about Anjali, many people got to know about Suman, and Mansi, their other interests, and how much they are connecting this book with their other learnings. That's amazing. I'm so happy that I think this book helped you to connect all these things. We are coming end of this book. We will be ending tomorrow. We will be ending the book. I would request one request, please. How you join the meeting sharp at 7 o'clock today. Please, you start join tomorrow as well, so that we can cover it. We don't want to extend one more day or extend more time. So we'll be able to cover everything in 1 hour time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again, and see you all tomorrow morning.
Thank you,
Thank
Rajesh, for
you.
leading such a wonderful book. Rajesh, just a question. You said about something about the quiz. Is that there somewhere in the book, or you have created something? I'm just curious.
So can you read
Your voice is low.
from the book, the same book.
Acha, acha, it is there in the book. Okay, I did not see. Okay, okay, okay. No problem.
I have a suggestion. Rajesh, your voice is breaking. We are not able to hear you. Not audible.
Yeah, not able to understand.
Okay, if you can hear, then I have a suggestion. Just put a word on the group that you would be we would be having a quiz tomorrow so that more people join. It would be like interesting for everyone who has not read the book. They can also join and learn from the book. Just a
And drop
suggestion.
it. I would suggest that drop it as a separate message from the summaries. Because then what
Yes,
happens,
okay,
sometimes
right,
people
Mrs.
don't miss out things from the summary na, because they're longer. So if you want to drop it something additional, just drop it other than the summaries as a separate message, maybe in bold or something. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that would be good.
yeah. Okay, then thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you
Before
for
that, I think
uh,
just want to say that I
picking
think I
this up
just want to
and making
anyone
me.
from this reading from this group, anyone would like to read next book in the morning session?
You take the
Yeah.
lead. It's a headache.
No, please. No, no, there is no headache. We will support you
Really?
if anyone wants to.
But I think you do if you want to leave. I think you are interested in.
Nahi, nahi.
So
Otherwise, I can take up, but if someone can, it's nothing like it. Like, it will be good. Want more
they
people
are
to take it.
asking for something. People I think you can also I think something
I
to
think
share.
Deepa will be taking happiness project in the middle, maybe 2 3 days, 2 days.
I think we can connect with them. After
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, I guess she will take. After that, we can start with some new book.
I'm also on
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I
section for
understand.
the
If no one is there, I'll take Rajesh, so you can be free. And thank you for taking this all up, so I can, I could just go on a back seat and relax for a while, like take it lighter, and could also miss some days. So thank you for that. But yes, Anjali, would you like to take a chance on any book of your favorite? We will be there to support you. Don't worry.
No, Mansi, sometimes na it gets late when I'm going to drop my daughter. So mostly her bus comes on time, but sometimes it is delayed. So that is why
Okay.
7 would not be like I'm not sure if I'll be able to be there on time. So that is the thing.
Okay, okay, no problem. But even if in the afternoon you want to take, you can think of.
नहीं यार,
Understood.
taking responsibility means I cannot take a break.
But
ऐसा
only for
कभी
1 or 2 week, na, you can choose a smaller book, like if you want. No, no, just
नहीं
no
नहीं
compulsion, just
because
asking.
उसमें फिर summarizing and then recording so many things are there and I'm not so good at all these things ना technology में मेरे को कुछ नहीं आता.
You can
I'm very
ask
bad
for,
at it.
we can do that. We can do that for you if you find anything difficult, na. We will be I personally will be there with you. You can just host and you can just lead the book as such. If you want. Anyone, Anjali or Suman.
Suman,
Actually, I am not confident enough. Just joined and learning the things.
I'll tell you,
Definitely,
I'll tell you
definitely
one
will be
thing.
taking in the future. Moreover, the same what Anjali was telling that from 7 to 8, actually, it's my daughter time also. So simultaneously, I have to attend to her also. Yeah, that is the thing.
No problem, no problem. Let's see. I think it seems I am the one who needs to lead for the next
please,
book. So no
please.
problem. Yeah. Also, let us know what would we like to read next. We'll also ask for a poll or something, but just any suggestions, feel free.
But I'm very much interested in Alchemist to read again. But I really want to have a recap kind of thing. If
Yeah, no wonder.
Alchemist is a good book, yeah.
Yes, yes, I have read it multiple times, but yes, that's a great read. Let's see. We'll
And
drop a poll.
Mansi, put in the poll, if possible, put some mind mapping book also. Once you suggested,
Oh,
I
I
like
have that,
that.
but only I'm not sure if I can get a PDF of that. That's the one reason. I have one or two very nice books by Tony Buzan himself. And they're very small also, in fact. We can finish them very fast. But the only concern is I don't know. I don't have that PDF, so if we'll have to check if we get the PDF, we can take them up. So if I get it,
Okay.
I'll put them in the pool. Let's see how it works. Okay, then I think Rajesh have left. I don't know if he took notes and all.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, maybe he had. Or actually,
Yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
recap is him only. Okay, then chalo then
Okay,
bye bye.
then. Bye bye.
Have
Okay,
a
bye
great
bye
day.
to all. Thank you.
Bye bye.